Police in Southern California are searching for the motive in the mass shooting that killed 10 people and wounded another 10. Happened at a popular local ballroom as the victims were celebrating the Lunar New Year. They say the shooter was a 72-year-old man who later took his own life after police pulled over the white van where he was hiding.
And for more on this, we want to bring in Josh Skule. He's a former executive assistant director of intelligence for the FBI. He's also the current president of Bow Wave, a business that provides services supporting U.S. national security. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. We have so many questions, and of course, we know you're not directly investigating this case, but can you just walk us through how authorities go about determining the suspect's motive in a case like this one, especially after he took his own life?
Well, it's really unfortunate the shooter took his own life. Of course, it's worse for the victims' families because they are looking for a motive as to what happened here and what triggered this horrific event. So right now, investigators, state, local, federal law enforcement are combing through social media. They're conducting witness interviews, both at the scene, but also in the suspect's circle. What was he dealing with at the time? What problems were there in his life? What was triggering him to do this? And then ultimately, what triggered him amongst all those problems to go and commit this horrific act? Additionally, why two locations? Who was there? What did he hold? What was the grudges? Anything in his personal background? Anything in his home?
You know, Josh, most, if not all, of the mass shootings that have gotten big-time national attention in recent years, certainly in my memory, have involved young people, young men, many of them under the age of 21 or at least in their 20s. Here, we don't have a 27-year-old. You can reverse the numbers. It's a 72-year-old. Talk to me a bit, if you could, about how this suspect seems to break the mold or the profile that we've been seeing.
Well, he certainly, by the age demographic, breaks the mold on what we've seen historically. However, I think the bigger issue is the fact that folks think it's okay to take care of their problems through mass violence. We're seeing this time and time again. And the coping mechanism and the aspects for people not realizing there's something going on with a friend or a family member and feeling okay to report that to law enforcement or someone else to get that person help and get on the front end of this.
Yeah.
You know, these investigations take a lot of time, Josh, of course, but for a tragedy of this nature, what should we expect in terms of a timeline? You know, we want answers right away, but how long do you think it'll take for some of those main questions, motive to come by? And
Josh, I would say if motive is going to be murky because the suspect is dead himself, with the paperwork involved in buying a weapon and the speculation that this might have been a weapon not legal in California, or at least parts of it, how long will it take the FBI, generally speaking, to track down and make the connective tissue work here in terms of where the weapon was purchased and whether it was purchased legally?
So I think you're looking at all of this. The investigative steps are not done in parallel or are done in parallel. So you have the ATF right now looking at tracing the weapon. You have state, local, federal law enforcement in total looking at social media, conducting search warrants. Because law enforcement wants to give these answers to the family and to the victims. They want to be able to provide closure. So all of that is being done right now. So they'll be looking at was this weapon purchased legally? How did he acquire the high-capacity magazine? Is this something that was purchased before the ban in California? Did they go out of state? Who provided it? All of that, as well as search warrant results from his residence, any social media, his phone. And again, coupled with the interviews of his network and also the victims at the scenes and who knew him and what problems he was having in his life, because clearly he was having problems.
All right, Josh Skule of Bow Wave and a former executive assistant director of intelligence at the FBI. Thank you very much.
Thank you.